Away from Nigeria, much is at stake as President Cyril Ramaphosa meets with U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington later today. Speaking to reporters outside the South African embassy, President Ramaphosa said he intends to prioritize the interests of South Africa during his high-level talks with the U.S. leader. The meeting is expected to cover a wide range of pressing issues, including diplomatic and economic relations between the two nations. Now, key topics on the agenda include U.S. import tariffs that have negatively impacted South African exports, the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, and growing international concern over disinformation, specifically false claims of genocide in South Africa. Joining us now from Gauteng is political analyst Asanda Ngoasheng, here to unpack the potential impact of today's high-stakes meeting on the future of U.S.-South African relations, both economically and politically. Thank you so much for joining us, Asanda.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, let's start with the agenda. What, in your view, are likely to be the key issues on the table when both presidents meet?
Well, I think the first conversation is going to be about ensuring that trade with South Africa and the U.S. continues, particularly under AGOA, because South Africa benefits from being one of the countries that has the most diverse product mix that it sends to America as exports. And our agricultural sector in particular is a big beneficiary of this program, with 5 of the top products that are sent to America coming from the Western Cape province. And so I think trade is going to be the first conversation. And the second conversation, of course, is going to be about how this false narrative of a white genocide has been spread and legitimized by America when it accepted South African citizens as so-called refugees under the name of being persecuted and having land taken from them.
Okay. Now, looking at, the sometimes hardline diplomatic approach from the White House, especially from Trump, how do you anticipate that President Ramaphosa would respond, if President Trump adopts a more aggressive stance?
Well, I think, Cyril Ramaphosa is known to be a man who's a good negotiator. He was, of course, one of the architects of the South African Constitution, which was a very tough negotiation after South Africa gained its independence. And so he has the experience of negotiation, and he has some charm, which we see constantly, particularly when he's engaging with international leaders. And so I expect that he will be bringing some of that skill, and he will be using some of that negotiating skill and tactic in this tough situation and conversation, which is not too far from the conversations that would have needed to happen in South Africa after 1994 and Black people coming into power.
All right. Well, we apologize for, wrapping up the conversation here, but time is not on our side. But thank you so much, Asanda, for your time and speaking to us on this.
Thank you.